and so much more going on besides. Well, hello everybody, thank you for joining us. If this is your first time watching World Endurance, boy, you've got a lot to find out in 8 hours. If it's a regular occurrence for you, thank you for joining us. My name's Martin Haven, in the booth, Anthony Davidson and Graham Goodwin. And Graham, the manufacturer's title race, absolutely critical here. Ferrari could win the title, but
it's all up for grabs, and as we've seen, particularly in the latter part of this championship, Martin, all sorts of combinations can come into play. This is not done for another 9 hours.
And Anthony, round 8 of the championship here in Bahrain, for so many years the season finale, and it's never short of fireworks. 8 hours is punishing for the cars and drivers.
It really is. It's a tough track, this one. We heard interviews from the likes of Jenson Button yesterday saying how low grip this circuit is. Ahmed Al-Hati there on screen shares the car number 46 with the doctor, Valentino Rossi, but everyone's in for a tough time today. This track is ever so punishing on the tyres especially.
29 degrees of air temperature, track temperature already nearly 40 degrees, and that is going to mean tough times for the drivers, but especially the tyres. Anthony, this is a technical track. It's not fast, but it's hard work.
Yeah, let's have a look at it in a bit more detail then. So 5.4 kilometers long, clockwise circuit. Been in existence since 2004, and it's the original surface still since then. Let's take a look at some of the key corners for today's race into turn 1, sector 1. This is your best overtaking opportunity, a heavy braking zone where the car will be at top speed down to first gear for that tight right-hander. The pit lane entry as well exits that, the pit lane exits that corner. Then you look at turn 9 and 10. We've seen a lot of cars going wide, going off the track here all weekend so far. It's a very technical corner, a lot's going on there, braking and turning at the same time. After you wind through the higher speed of 11-12, you arrive at the final 2 corners of the lap. Again, quite a heavy braking zone into turns 14, and then accelerate through the corner through turn 15. And that is a lap of this very slow speed technical circuit where, like I said before, takes a lot out of the tyres. It's a hot day, as you would expect here out in these parts of the world, in the desert, and we see all the cars pretty much venturing onto the harder tyres in these kind of conditions so far this weekend. The question is, in the hypercar category, who will venture onto the mediums at what stage?
Graham, we'll talk about hypercar in a minute. Let's talk LMGT3. Here are our points leaders, but they have not got a good starting position.
No, it's going to have to be a really convincing early race run for starters to get into the mix from the 92 car. Both the Porsches starting towards the back of the grid. What a stellar season to this point, but there's some hard work to do today. And that is our LMGT3 Teams Trophy. It's 11 points to good for the 92 Ferrari from the 92 Porsche from the 21 Ferrari, but also the 81 Corvette in the mix. Virtual champion, as things stand, would be the Monti First Form Porsche team.
Yeah, that assumes that nobody outscores them, but as you say, 11 points. In terms of wins here, not 25 points, 38 points for 8-hour races. It's points and a half. So that widens the scope of potential success or disaster for our championship contenders and for everybody else. Well, there's Mike Conway back in the Toyota fold in the number 7 car. Toyota had a very disappointing season, Anthony Davidson. They haven't won a race yet. They hadn't had a pole position yet, but they managed to turn that around by looking out the front row. But let's take a look at some of our other contenders in LMGT3. François Heriot will start the 21 Ferrari. He and Simon Mann try to get it through into hyperpole, but the 21 Ferrari will start in 8th position, not right at the front of the field. Best of our championship contenders in terms of their grid position, and they have just 11 points to make up. The band of the Bahrain police force coming.
Here's the first of the Mustangs we'll see this afternoon. 7th place on the grid for number 88 Proton competition car. Stefano Gattuso will start this car, and they've been becoming far more of a force the head of the grid as this season has rolled on. There's a new Evo car to come next year, but this is already proving to be quite the weapon in LMGT3 racing.
Been interesting, the progress of Mustang, of Mercedes and of the Lexus cars. There's the Boss WRT with a foot in both camps. Van Sant Vos running cars in hypercar for BMW and in LMGT3. Paul-Luc Chatin with his young son here, racing for Alpine in the hypercar class. Neil Jarni, last race in a Porsche for him this weekend. Well, who knows, maybe not.
Sean Gallel and friend, I think new wife, am I right? They just got married or just engaged, one or the other. I remember seeing briefly on Instagram. I don't often venture there.
Sixth on the grid, you just saw a quick glimpse of the number 27 Aston Martin. This is the heart of racing car. Heart of racing not only running this car in LMGT3, but also the Aston Martin Valkyries in the hypercar program. And boy, they had a good time in qualifying. Ross Gunn in 007, the fastest lap during any of the qualifying runs. 27 start in the top 6, but their title not going to come this year. Just saw Marco Sorensen, he'll be starting. His teammates say it's an honour, not a duty, to put the old man in. So he gets to start the 009 Aston Martin. And Anthony Davison, drivers heading to the grid now, just trying to sort of quieten themselves down and get ready for the start of the race.
It's a nice part of the weekend. You know, your hopes are high. Everyone's starting on a clean sheet. You forget what happened in qualifying because you know today is going to be a very punishing 8 hours ahead of you.
Next up on the LMGT3 grid, and fifth in the order, the 31, the Ben Team WRT BMW. Yasser Shaheen from Australia will start this race, sponsored by the Bend Motorsport Park just outside Adelaide, his family-owned company.
And his brother, his older brother Samir, was racing in Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East yesterday and today, so both brothers here racing. Jean-Eric Vergne, his last start this weekend in the Peugeot team, but back into LMGT3 with Lexus again. Real change in their form from last year through this season. Petru and Brarescu will start this car in 4th place on the grid. The front engine cars filling the top 6 positions, 7 positions in qualifying. The harder, high temperature Goodyear tyre really working, switching on well in the front engine cars, less so for the mid-engined rivals.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of that, haven't we, this weekend? More than ever before, the fact that the front-engine cars in GT have the advantage. And speaking of another front-engine car, Graham?
Yep, absolutely. Completing the second row is the first, or rather the second of the AMGs, as we'll soon see. The number 61 car, been quite the season for Iron Lynx and this journey into LMGT3. They've found that quite the challenge. Another great grouping there that represents generations here of the FI World Endurance Championship. Christian Reed there on the right-hand side. What future part are you going to play, Martin?
Well, a big part as ever since being a young driver racing with his dad. First time ever into hyperpole for the number 60 car, so great run from Andrew Gilbert and Lorcan Hannafin. They looked for a long while in the first round of qualifying as if they might dominate the front row. This car will start in second rather. That means that pole position did not fall to a Mercedes. It did fall to a front engine car though, and starting on pole position in LMGT3 is the number 87 Lexus crew. And actually from a stellar lap from that young man there, Finn Geersitz, Arnaud Robin did the donkey work at the beginning. And the 78 car will start from pole position. They will lead the field around in LMGT3.
They will, and it's a first time ever for both the Toyota brands to be on the respective pole positions.
And Anthony, hard, high temperature tyre really, that H should say, rather than hard tyre. It's not a harder compound, it just survives the heat of the day here a little bit better. Yeah,
so the LMGT3 cars, for those of you that haven't followed the entire season, first of all, why not? Secondly, the Goodyear tyre is only in existence in the LMGT3 category. In the hypercar, we're on Michelin's. You have the options, quite literally, between the medium, hard, and I seriously doubt we'll be on the wet tyres today. But yeah, so the hard tyres, in reverse of what you might see in Formula 1, the red stripe is hard, not soft, but the medium is the yellow striped. And look at this, Porsche's last race.
Last dance, it says in that. Last dance, Jolene. I don't know whose signature is that. Is that Kevin Estre underneath? That is, I think. All of the crew have signed these cars. Porsche Penske come to the end of the road, at least for now. Who knows? Does not vary their speed. So you hold a constant speed, and that means that we should hopefully avoid any of the dramas we had in one of the restarts at Qatar.
To grid position, hypercars to grid position.
Dorian Pan, you just saw there in the back.
Lila Wadu.
Lila Wadu, indeed, sorry, in the back of the Iron Dames garage.
She'll be driving the hypercar on the rookie test
Close the
tomorrow.
gaps. Yannick, please slow down a little bit. Yannick, please slow down a little bit. And I take the opportunity to thank you, Yannick, for all you've given to motorsport and especially to endurance. A big thank you from all of us.
We are ready to go racing in Bahrain. The finale of the 2025 FIA World Endurance Championship. Our grid is formed. The leading car pulls into the pit lane. We are about to go green for the Bapco Energy's 8 hours of Bahrain. It's a long run to the line and no overtaking before it. Mike Conway on the left of the screen. The Peugeot trying to insert himself straight down the middle. Number 8 already ahead, so Brendan Hartley making a better start. Loic Duval trying to get through there, but it is Toyota 1-2 so far. The hypercar field has escaped, but a big moment. Snap over the curbs from number 6 Porsche. On the inside of turn 2, Anthony, that's a big curb, and they're 4-5 wide behind.
Yeah, there was almost contact with the BMW in turn 1, and also a little bit, I think, through turn 4 as well, but a real near miss for everyone who was around car number 6 at the start there. And Laurent Vantour doing an exceptional job to hang on to that.
Julian Andlauer in the 5 car right behind the 83 Ferrari. 99 is off. Who else went off there as well? Was that the Alpine? Fred Makovic had dropped to the tail of the pack. So it might have been the 99 and the 36 Alpine.
One of the BMWs getting squeezed wide, just slightly off the track there through turn 9 as well. Manages to survive that one without getting overtaken by car 50 behind. That's Nick Nielsen at the wheel.
On board with Laurens Vantour and the number 6 Porsche. He's down in 15th position. There he is in the middle of that group with the white nose and the red highlights.
Yeah, so the cars that went wide and off the track in turn 7 was the Alpine, and you can see just at the back of the screen there the number 99 Proton Porsche.
Proton Porsche appears to have a continuing problem. Can tell you no major dramas to be seen in LMGT3. We'll see that start a little later, but side by side here.
15 BMW is the red, white and blue, and the red of Ferrari, that's car number 50 trying to make its way up the order. Not a championship contender, but they must score manufacturers' points to try and give Ferrari the title.
Always a difficult one, like Nielsen did. Pull off that move into the final corner, then you're under attack immediately as Magnussen's back on it, getting a bit of side draft even down towards first corner. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers here? Get the feeling it's going to be Nielsen on the inside, but Magnussen's not going to give this up. Round the outside he goes, gives himself the inside for turn 2 and retakes that position.
The reigning drivers' champions, Porsche number 6, being mugged by the BMWs, and look at the Aston Martin here. This is on the 50 Ferrari, so that Aston Martin 007.
Yeah, it was the aftermath.
Down at the start, didn't it?
It was the aftermath of that overtaking move. Brilliant move by Kevin Magnussen that allowed the Aston to slip by as well. Nielsen's got to be sensible here. He knows he's got a fast race car under him today. And he tries to go around the outside. Now, with the Aston, there was a bit of contact, I think. Bit of damage, maybe something flicked up, didn't it?
Yeah.
But he gets through.
Looks like a lens of some description. Meantime, I can tell you, up to 4th position overall is the number 12 Cadillac and Will Stevens. He's managed to split the Peugeots.
And that's a pretty good job there. He is the gold car between the 2 white machines. And then the best of the Aston Martins, Marco Sorensen, the dark green Valkyrie. He's ahead of 51. Antonio Giovinazzi right on board, Anthony.
Yeah, Giovinazzi with another Aston Martin in front of him. We've just seen one Ferrari get by an Aston. And it's up to Giovinazzi, but they've got to bide their time here, the Ferraris. Like I say, they know they've been focusing on race pace the entire weekend. Sacrifice qualifying in many ways for that. 51 has number 83 of Phil Hansen right behind him.
And that's your driver's title race. There's the 50 car, still behind the 15 BMW, and this is the battle for 10th place. Points only go down to 10th, but